Dude, I love breakdowns. Alright, okay, so, sorry boys, no gameplay here, just me and Spike for a second talking that real. Crash Insane Trilogy, you get 3 games. It's not a port. A port would be the same game, but like ported over to PS4 or whatever with like, it'd be like PS1 Crash with PS1 controls and PS1 physics, but like now 16:9 widescreen with like maybe a small tweak to the existing stuff overall. And this is an HD remake. Everything here is remade from scratch, from the ground up, completely. So the game looks beautiful and whatnot, but the basic stuff here is that, yeah, it's 30 FPS, which is kind of like inexcusable, I would imagine. But like whatever, it's console, so hopefully there'll be like a PC port eventually, maybe, I don't know, probably not, but okay, whatever. 30 FPS is one thing, but here's where things get really, really tricky here. And in Crash Bandicoot HD, like all 3 of them all together here, the levels remain loyal. So if you imagine if this was like built in Mario Maker, this is like block for block, the same stuff. But the physics engine is totally like different here. They wanted to make the physics engines consistent across all 3 games here, whereas from what I understand they weren't before in 1, 2, and 3. And because of that, you have the same levels, but different physics, which changes the difficulty of the levels. Now, when I say different physics, that gets pretty complicated because there are some minor differences that lead to some pretty big situations, I guess, if I want to use my here. So, in these HD crashes now, Crash's jump fall happens faster. Crash reaches like, I don't want to call it terminal velocity, but Crash reaches his peak fall speed way faster than he did in the previous game. And I don't know if that's the reason why, but Crash's jump arc is shorter. Crash falls faster, and I can't confirm this, but it feels like, in short, because due to that effect, that Crash's jump has less power. He does not jump as high, or he just falls way faster, one of the two here. So the best way to describe that here is imagine you're playing Mario Brothers, like the first one, NES one, but Mario jumps 20% less, shorter. So you have the same gaps, the same Koopas, the same everything, but Mario just has higher gravity and his jump doesn't go as high. Those gaps are now less forgiving. Getting on a Koopa is more scary. Not to mention, not only is the jump shallower, because that's what I'm looking for here, but in the PS1 game, a lot of the hitboxes were geometrical. So things that, like, you had, like, turtle shell was, like, more square and angular, whereas here now, the turtle shell is spherical. When Crash spins, it's like a oval-shaped hitbox. So, oval-shaped hitbox against, like, a oval, roundish edge means it's gonna slip off that thing. Crash is more inclined to fall off of sloped objects, and it affects a lot of these like precise bullshit things when you already have a game that's pretty wonky on depth perception perspective as difficulty through platforming. It's kind of like, it gets kind of annoying. So there's a lot of cheap deaths where you think you're gonna make it but you don't make it, or you think you're gonna hit the enemy but you don't because you fall short because like hitboxes / perspective on that kind of thing. So the jump is shallower, the hitboxes are changed, and it makes existing familiar obstacles now foreign and difficult for a really dumb reason, which is the engine changes and whatnot. So you have all that going on, plus there are other minor things. The ice physics now are a little bit jank because you have like nerfed every speedrun tech in the game now is nerfed. In an unfortunate way. Neutral slide spinning is like no longer as effective. You can't do it infinitely like you used to before and just get a fuck ton of speed on that. You cannot do anything out of a spin. So when you spin, you can't like move backward. You're stuck in place. And not only that too, but when you do any of these animations, there's like hella lag coming out of the animation. So like for example here, belly flop used to be faster, but belly flop now is a more detailed, beautiful animation, but it's much slower. Like belly flop has like build up lag, landing lag, and like when Crash is like getting up, it's like half a second of him like not even like doing anything, but you can't do anything yet. Like there's like belly flop has a commitment to it like a motherfucker now, which is kind of jank. And these are all things that that bother me and I'm observant of because I just speedrun the game. So that's those are all the nitpicky shit that kind of bugs the fuck out of me. But it's really, I'm only bringing up so often because I'm streaming it right now and I'm dying a fuck ton, and what I feel are mostly unfair differences I have to get used to. Oh, also, now that's all minor. That was all officially minor speedrun crap. You can probably look past all that stuff. Minus the jump. The jump being 20% less height is a pretty big deal, but everything else is like shallow. The two big things I'm gonna take away from here that I want you to know about here are that the jump is shallow, and the other major thing is aerial momentum. That's the thing that fucking throws everything off. You bounce on a box, and it feels like you just fuck up and you die. When you're trying to judge off of a box bounce, you don't move forward in like a very familiar fashion. When you bounce on a note block in Mario Brothers, you know how the shit works. It's very straightforward. You see the video, the physics in your head, it makes sense. You compute it and whatnot. Here, what happens is you bounce, you go straight up, then your momentum goes in. You can be holding forward off of a bounce, and unless you're at like a certain speed or something involving the momentum, not quite sure the consistent conditions yet here, but you just go up and you have like a delayed forward momentum. It's really fucking stupid. I don't understand it. When you do like a slide spin jump onto a bouncy box, then it gets kind of negated. But before you have that level of speed, it's really fucking stupid. And if you don't believe me, play any bonus level, do a bouncy box thing, and try to like do anything here. It's like really fucking stupid. And of course here, that air momentum that I don't have quite figured out yet, what's going on there, and the 20% shallower jump really fuck up a lot of sections. There's a lot of spots where there's like precision near a fuck ton of nitro boxes that are way harder for this dumb reason because of these changes in the physics. So Crash's shadow is like not as visible as it was in the original game. The lighting here is more detailed, and I guess due to that I don't know, whatever, but like Crash's shadow that you would use for judging perspective is like not as visible now. So a lot of things here are minute nitpicks, and but those two big ones there will affect, I would say, even a casual. Now all that aside here, the game is great value because you are getting, you know, all 3 Crash games for $40, brand new HD. I just wish that it's like, because we're so close to being great, I'm like mad about it. So we're kind of in that uncanny valley where if it was just like I would actually be happier with an HD port than I am currently with this HD remake. So that's the overall thing right there. There is some new stuff though. You can do time trials in Crash 2, which is pretty cool. And from what I hear, you get the run ability from Crash 3 you can use in Crash 2. But I would appreciate that way more if the physics was not a pile of shit. So that's everything. That's my breakdown so far. Still playing it, can't really say right now. And that's rating. I don't know. I haven't beaten the game yet, so I don't know. I'm still gonna play that. All right. Actually, that was pretty good. I like that. Let's go ahead and highlight that. That's the complete story there, Spike. So I'm hoping Activision gets together, but right now, and the conclusion being that, is this game worth buying? I'm gonna say yeah anyway, because if for you, it's gonna be nostalgic for sure. So I feel like the nostalgia will outweigh the frustration. Barely. And it could get patched, which is a big thing there too. But the game, it's right at that price point where you're getting 3 games, $40, nostalgia trip, big time. I'd say it's worth it for sure. So you know all my nitpicks, and you know about my 2 big issues with it, and now you have the confidence to know whether or not you want to go in or not. Fuck you,